Ah, hello. Now, we've met a lot of times at this point. I think you know me well enough to know that you know, you know how this works. I talk about lineage, and you listen, or at least you should be listening. If you haven't been listening this whole time, then, uh, well, that would just be annoying. But today, we're getting close to the end, kid, of the lineage at least. Don't know what I'll do after that, but I'm here to talk about what might just be my favorite. Yes, I may have just saved the best for last. My personal favorite being the Unfleshed. Oh, these guys, I get them so much, and I enjoy them in my own little ways. And to be clear, the Unfleshed are, well, you people in your time would call them robots, and I tend to use the term myself, but it's a little bit more broad than that. Now, to say the Unfleshed have a true origin is borderline impossible to say. There are many legends of who was the first Unfleshed, and none of them feel right, mostly because many Prometheans seem to attest to them being Unfleshed before that. Everything from statues to temple guards to, well, a chess-playing robot that had legs attached to it. Yeah, that's a real guy, look him up. They have been around for a while. They themselves sometimes try to claim they're the oldest Promethean lineage. I do not believe that, as I have stated, I do not think they were, but that's neither here nor there. I do believe, though, that they have definitely been around for longer than the term robot, or that would go. But they are robots. The major gimmick is that they're made out of artificial materials. What I mean by that is that they aren't made out of decayed bodies or recently killed corpses or mummified bodies or the dirt. No, they are made out of metal, steel, plastic, concrete, any of the artificial materials you so well know today. Clay is even considered artificial, as some of the first Prometheus, from the first Unfleshed, were made out of clay and stuff like that. Now, to understand, now, the major gimmick is that they are, of course, logical machines. They were, in many ways, some of the first machines before we had machines and computers. Therefore, they tend to think very robotically, but not in the way you would expect. They don't lack emotion. They don't understand emotion. They have all the same emotions you or I do. They can feel rage, happiness, joy, sadness. They have it all. Or at least as much as any other Promethean does. But they have trouble understanding it, and to some extent controlling it. It just doesn't make sense to them. They're used to thinking in a very mechanical, machine-like way, and that comes back to them a fair bit. They were always made with a purpose, you see. Now obviously all Prometheans are usually made with a purpose to some degree, but the Unfleshed were made to do a task. And this isn't like the Tanzu I mentioned earlier. They don't like to work so much as they have one particular thing, and they are going to do that as much and as best as possible. Go back to the chess-playing robot example. I've happened to met this fine individual. He is really good at playing chess. Very good. Very, very good. And so, he was, of course, everybody often thinks a very chess-like way. He sees everyone as pawns or bishops, and himself as, well, he would always call himself the king. But as he went on, I'm pretty sure he thought of him more as a pawn. But that's neither here nor there. But you get, hopefully that helps explain how they think. There are other examples. Unfleshed made to guard a tomb will guard that tomb almost fervently. A Unfleshed, well, you can imagine, I would just, you can imagine what someone would make an artificial being to do. I don't think I have to explain that. And they have two major abilities worth of note, at least to my mind, beyond being made out of artificial materials, is one, they have the the due to their interesting nature of their relationship with emotions and understanding psychology, some of them have a weird way of like interpreting things the wrong way, but in a good way. Like someone will fervently insult one of them, and then they'll take that as an inspiring motivation. It's very interesting. The second one, and by far the most powerful and notable, is, well, they can detach parts of their body that become independent creatures that serve their will. Granted, of course, they have to separate part of the body, and they can go out, scout, and do all kinds of things, and then it can just be reattached without issue. And if that part gets lost, well, it's only a mild inconvenience. They can just build a new part to replace it, or it will grow with time. It's not, they can do that. And here's the crazy part. If you kill the main body when one of them is in this state, or has a piece gone off like this, that part can regrow with time and will remember everything from the previous go-around, making them extremely difficult to kill. For example, with the chess-playing robot individual I keep bringing up, one time he was horribly injured in a fight, and, well, he was almost completely destroyed except for a few pieces of him that were built like queen pieces. And he used that to escape when no one was looking. Very ingenious, I must say. But, and interesting enough, many of their but their skills often transfer into their human lives should they complete the pilgrimage. For instance, that chess-playing robot guy I mentioned, he's one of the greatest chess players in the world now. I won't say who, of course. I'll just say he's up there. I don't want to give him away, and, privacy and all that. But yes, that's the Unfleshed. The machines of the promethean world, if you will. Although I do have to note that some other lineages, some also times may have artificial material, particularly the Galileans. Still can't say the name right. Galileans. Although, I guess the line between those two can get a bit blurry at points sometimes. I think it's mostly an attitude thing. But I do not know. But yes, we shall meet again sometime.